over the last 11 years, right?
Yes, and we lost 148 men in the Persian Gulf War. Messages. Boy, these are pretty expensive messages.
Yeah,
They're messages in blood.
But they were messages that may have been incomplete. The message we sent to Saddam after Operation Desert Storm was, we stopped. We didn't go all the way. We didn't overthrow him. We decided the message we sent after that is, we think we can do it with sanctions. We think we can do it with deterrence. We think we can do it with UN weapons inspectors. The weapons inspectors were treated like a bunch of jokes. I mean, they are the ones who will tell you that. For the first couple of years after Desert Storm, the weapons inspectors did extremely well. Saddam was scared at that point. He had just lived through a war that he lost. And then as the years went on, the message that he was getting from Washington is, these people aren't serious. They're going to let me stay here no matter what I do. It doesn't make any difference. They don't care what I do to the Kurds. They don't care what I do to the Shia. They don't even much care what I do to my neighbors as long as I don't invade some country that has too much oil. Right? I can go in after the Kurds, and they don't care at all. I mean, yes, they help the refugees, and they start the bombing. We have the free fly zones in there. But by and large, I think the message that Saddam derived from the last 10 or 11 years is, you can push the United States around.
Is that really what you believe?
I think that's the message he has derived out of this.
We've been bombing him for a decade. And somehow he gets the message that he can push us around. Does Bob Byrd's objection to the fact that no declaration of war as demanded by the Constitution has been enacted by the United States Congress, does this bother you?
It bothers me terribly. It's been bothering me for years, but I must tell you, Senator Byrd, for whom I have every respect in the world, is kind of late coming to that argument. When's the last time we had a declaration of war? 1941?
So because it's late,
1941? We've had a few wars between now and then. I mean, Congress has gotten out of the habit of establishing its prerogatives there. I think the senator's right, but I think he's late.
You think he's right, but well, if you think he's right, then this resolution by Congress to go get Saddam, and that's what we're talking about. Regime change means assassinating Saddam. Collateral damage means dead innocent people, civilians, and regime change says, go kill this guy. Yes, Hillary Rodham Clinton. Yes, Tom Daschle. Yes, Dick Gephardt. Yes, Henry Waxman. Yes, Dianne Feinstein. Wow. No declaration where we're going to go kill another head of state.
I must confess...
And that's going to make our grandchildren safer.
No, but I'm less concerned about killing Saddam Hussein than I am about killing the innocent people. I mean, when you talk about the innocent people, yes, that troubles me a lot. The idea of Saddam Hussein dying, I wouldn't lose a moment's sleep over that.
Because I'm a citizen, we're kind of out of the loop in New York. We're really, we're sort of outside the Beltway looking in here. But here's some of the things we see. The President of the United States this morning said he's leading a global coalition, if they must, into Iraq. He is leading no such thing. That is, at the very least, misleading. We are going once again to war without the constitutional mandate, and you're saying, don't worry about that. We haven't done it since when? Pearl Harbor. You're also saying that even though the Washington Post has reported my Secretary of Defense as being abusive, with top brass wanting to leave the Pentagon now on the eve of the war, you're saying it's always that way. So I guess I should get on the train today and go back to the boondocks of New York, not quite so concerned. What is the Constitution? It's kind of a quaint idea that we will use sometimes. Why aren't you more outraged about these things?
Wait a second. I mean, you're asking your questions, and then you're rephrasing my answers to fit your predisposition.
Straighten us out.
I'm just saying, if you're going to start getting upset about the fact that Congress has not voted a declaration of war this time, Congress didn't vote a declaration of war in Somalia. Congress didn't vote a declaration of war in Panama. Congress didn't vote a declaration of war in Kosovo. Congress didn't vote a declaration of war in Vietnam. Congress didn't vote a declaration of war in Korea.
Yes.
At least in Korea and Vietnam, we
maybe that's how we got this adventure, rootin' tootin' cowboy image around it.
I don't disagree with you about that. All I'm saying is, Phil, if you're going to believe me, I have as much difficulty getting information out of this administration as any journalist here in town. They're not the easiest people to deal with when it comes to the free flow of information. But it's hardly fair to sort of slap the Bush administration with this notion that they're the first folks in 62 years.
Well, you've characterized my observation. I didn't say that.
All I'm saying is it's a little late in the game. We've set new ground rules. The executive branch and the legislative branch have set new ground rules over the last 61 years, and the fact of the matter is you're not going to have a declaration of war. It isn't going to happen anymore. It's just not going to happen.
So so that we can expect then for the future of our wonderful American democratic experiment, one of the most magnificent efforts at civilization in the history of man. It's going to be the president's going to call these wars.
The president is in large measure going to call the wars. There is no question about that. And the fact of the matter is, if you and I and our fellow citizens are going to be facing terrorism, if that's going to be the nature of the war against us, coming from God knows which direction, coming at God knows which time and God knows which place, you know something, some of those freedoms that you and I cherish so much are going to be inhibited even more. Because in the final analysis, the #1 responsibility of any administration is the protection of its people. And they will use that, and they will beat that drum, and they will deny us some of the freedoms that you and I have wanted. You better learn to live with that.
Well, now I have something else to worry about on the way home. We'll be back with this past spring. ABC tried to replace Ted Koppel. Who'd have thunk it? Still.
Been in this business a long time. You mean you've just discovered that
I never expected him to throw out 37 Emmys, Nightline, the best thing that's happened to our business since 60 Minutes. And they're going to replace you with a comedy variety hour.
I mean, as much as I want to disagree with you, I mean, finally, you're talking sense.